Hi Taurus, welcome to your October 2020 General Tarot reading. It's Raina here. Alrighty, let's see what we got here. I'm just trying to do that a little bit. Alrighty. I think I know why we're getting these intense cards. I'll tell you in a second. So, the top three cards, I'm not going to lie, or actually not the top three, but this is actually a very positive reading. The center piece of this reading is the Five of Cups, which is a card of mourning the loss of something or someone. And, you know, based on the other cards here, it could be like a relationship issue. And one of the things that they always say is look at the person has turned his back on the two cups that are remaining, which is supposed to symbolize somebody who is, you know, not looking at the bright side of things or seeing the glass half full. And I will say that this is, in some cases, this is very important, because that might be part of the problem. What happened in that situation is that the person was not able to value something just in the relationship itself, maybe took that person for granted until it was too late and they realized what they had lost. And it doesn't have to be malicious. It's just that people get caught up in their own things and maybe work or whatever. But I feel ultimately that there's something else going on, that there's a relationship that is something that you haven't had for a while. And you feel like it's holding you hostage. I mean, this is the higher message. And when I say it's holding you hostage, you are holding yourself hostage, Taurus. You are believing that if only you could get back with this person, everything would be perfect. And this is another thing, you know, talking about the way that we think, that simply doesn't stand up to reality. It's that, you know, however you may have treated somebody or regarded somebody, maybe you didn't realize what you had. You know, I think of that Joni Mitchell song, you know, Big Yellow Taxi. You don't realize what you've got until you've lost it. Even if that's the case, it doesn't mean that it was for you or that it was all your fault. And so to think that you could have done anything different in that moment is really an illusion. I'm sorry to quote so many people, but I really do believe believe what Maya Angelou said. You know, when you know better, you do better. When you have more information, you're able to make better decisions. Information can be experiences. And sometimes when we're young, we're so cocky and full of ourselves that we don't realize that we have somebody really valuable at our side, and maybe that happened to you and you didn't take somebody seriously enough, and perhaps that relationship never it ended, and now you have dealt with other loss in your life and you wish that you had that person. Let me just go to the past position, because that can sometimes explain things. So here we have this past position. And for sure, you know, this can be a card of reuniting with somebody, but perhaps this is about reuniting with someone that you you want to be reunited with them, but they are already involved with somebody else. Maybe you have heard news of them getting married or what have you, or getting divorced, and now you're with somebody else, and you can't feel that sense of being in alignment with them in terms of what is happening in your life. I will say, with the Five of Cups, that it seems like there is something that you have lost. So I think if you are currently in a relationship that isn't working out, perhaps you ended that relationship, and that in and of itself felt like a loss, even if it wasn't a good relationship. I mean, people can feel losses about many things, not just things that they really valued. Even things that, fall apart can be viewed as a loss. And so all those cards are kind of heavy in that sense, because there is maybe looking to the past and realizing that something has changed, and being like, why did this have to happen? There can be even for some Taurians, the issue of commitment now. Maybe there is somebody, and they could be a perfectly beautiful person, who is kind of pressuring you to commit, and because you're still hung up on this other person, you feel that sense of oppression. The Eight of Swords is oppression. But, Swords is about communication. And so if you feel oppressed about something, then what it means is that you're telling yourself that you're trapped. But in fact, a lot of this could be your mindset, the things that you are telling yourself that are simply untrue. So sometimes people perceive themselves as trapped, and they really aren't, is what I'm trying to get at. What crosses you is the Nine of Pentacles. This can be a card. So I'm reading this as a reversed card. In the upright position, this can be somebody who is financially independent. In the reversed position, this is somebody who may be a spendthrift, is financially dependent on somebody else. And if this is you in a relationship, Taurus, it can mean that you feel that you have to be with somebody because of that aspect. And so those kinds of things, we never talk about those aspects. We always talk about the feelings. And of course, with the Two Cups cards on the top row, the feelings are really front and center here. But that's not the only thing. There are practical considerations. And certainly a Taurus person would know this better than anybody else, is that there are practical things to think about here. And one of them can be, can I live on my own? Do I have the means to do so? And if you don't, you don't, It's not something that you can, pretend that doesn't matter. So you may be having a lot of emotional, intensity in October that leads up to, this is what I was trying to get at, is that there's a full moon in your sign on the 31st of the month, and it's going to be at 8 degrees of Taurus. So this can be a time when something comes to a head in your life. And because full moons involve oppositions with the sun, it can bring relationships to a crisis point, or to some point where you're seeing the situation much more. There's you're seeing both sides of it, let me put it that way. And the sun is in your 7th house, so that's the other person. But the full moon is in your 1st house, in this house of the self. And so that means that you have to look at the situation and how it affects you. Maybe in some cases there are certain things that you need to stop doing in order to make your relationship better if you decide to stay with somebody. But I have a hard time believing that this is about the possibility of staying with somebody, because the Five of Cups and the Eight of Swords are not cards that suggest that you are trying to save a marriage. As a matter of fact, they are cards of emotional upheaval, maybe grief, and mental chains. And with the Two of Cups, there is the promise of, or you know, the potential promise, I guess say it is the promise of reunion with somebody. And certainly when we look at what's coming in, we get some good cards here. One of them being the Sun card, which is a card that is the most positive card of the deck, you could say. I mean, you could make a case for it at least. So the Sun rules the sign of Leo, so if that's a Leo person, but I get like an earth energy because of the outcome card. This is a card that's everything good: love, creativity, joy, what else? Prosperity, healing, these kinds of themes that can come into play. And this can mean that you are, you know, maybe that Two of Cups, this is the same person. If you have been involved with somebody like this and you have kind of had a hard time committing because you're still in the grief process, maybe you're a widow or widower, and you are not sure that your heart is totally healed. The Sun card suggests that it certainly is getting there. And this is about embracing love. Sometimes love comes in a very unexpected way. See, I'm going to do that so you can see it better. And comes in an unexpected way, and is something that, with Uranus being in your sign, Taurus, this is something that is, you know, front and center in your life that you're experiencing. So that can be very exciting as well, that you're experiencing a lot of surprises, maybe meeting somebody on the spur of the moment, and this person turns out to be such a great person in your life. The outcome is the Three of Pentacles. This is this is the Architect's card, which suggests some building firm foundations. And if you have it in a relationship reading, this can mean that the two of you are builders. So that's why I said earth energy. But even a Leo can be a builder because they're fixed signs. So the four builders, if you will, are the fixed signs of Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio. But having a relationship that's going to last, not just kind of flimsy type of scenario, that might be what is going on for you. But I hope so. If you have kind of been mourning the loss of somebody, and this could be somebody from 5 years ago, it doesn't have to be recently, I hope that you find what you're looking for, Taurus, and that's what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a private reading, like a natal chart interpretation, most of my readings are astrology based, please visit the link below. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.